From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Becoming Thin podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrell. And welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through? And what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now, don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson from that. That's your reward for your troubles, after all. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up again. Before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired and fat. And I decided to make some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my real life lifestyle, habits, and routines. But I didn't stop there. I also went on to change my environment, my community, into my systems of belief. Because it's all 6 of those things that create the results in my life. And if you want to get the same results in your life, you're going to have to go change those 6 things too. And now I'm here each week to help you get the results in your life of becoming thin, healthy, happy, and in shape. And I know it's a long journey. I know it's going to take time. I've done it myself. It took 26 months to lose 125 pounds. 26 months. Now, look, I'll be honest. In the very beginning of that, I had no idea how long it was going to take. If somebody said it was going to take 26 months, I'm actually not sure how I'd have reacted. I could see a world where I would have reacted like, oh, 2 years? I could do that. I've done things for 2 years before. But I could also hear myself being like, 2 years? That's like forever away. I want to be thin now. Like, I'm not sure how I would have responded. Maybe a little bit of both. Maybe that's why I'm not sure. Maybe I would have responded both ways. But I was asked on a podcast episode just recently if I could talk about the beginning of my weight loss journey. I believe the user's name was Noah. I don't have it in front of me right now. Was asking about the beginning. You know, how did I decide what to do next after my initial challenge to move? And I haven't talked about that story in a bit, and it might be good to talk about it again. As well as I liked the question that the person asked. How did I decide what to do after I did my first thing? Because I didn't follow a plan. I didn't go to the internet and get some plan and follow that plan. I didn't do that. I literally made up my own plan from the ground up, from day zero. I made it all up as I went. I didn't follow anybody's direction. There's no book I bought. There's no weight loss person I followed because I couldn't find anybody that was teaching it the way I wanted to do it. So I felt a little bit like Thanos putting on the gauntlet at the end of the first Avengers movie. Well, I guess I got to do it myself, he said. And I'm like, well, I guess I got to do this myself. Nobody else has made the perfect Chris Terrell plan. I guess I got to go make the perfect Chris Terrell plan of success. But let's rewind the clock. All the way back to the beginning of when I first formed my free Facebook group. Are you a part of my free Facebook group, the Becoming Thin Facebook group? If you are not part of that, I would love to have you come be a part of it. You can head on over to Facebook and just type in Becoming Thin. You should see the Becoming Thin community there. And you could also head to becomingthin.com and get more resources there as well. I also just want to let you know, if you are listening to this episode live as it comes out, it is April 9th, 2025. The Guild doors open today. Well, actually, in a couple of hours, and I'm done here with the podcast, so I'm going to go turn it all on. But the Guild is going to be going live. And at that point, you can come join, and the doors close next Thursday morning, 6 a.m. So you've got, I believe that's the 14th or 15th. But so today, Friday, to the following Thursday, you can join the Guild. I would love to have you come be a part of it. I'm not going to use the podcast episode to go tell you a whole ton about it other than to say people come to the Guild as fat people and they leave as skinny people. If that's what you're looking for, head on over to theguildofchampions.com. You can learn more about it, or you can click to the link in the bio and that'll take you to some more information about it as well. But now let's get to what I actually wanted to talk about. Let's rewind the clock all the way back 6 years ago, just about a month from now, which is why I think this is a great question. 6 years ago, a month from now, in June 2019, I was sitting at a Chick-fil-A, literally a block away from where I'm recording this. It is down the street from where I work every day. And I was sitting in this Chick-fil-A with my brother-in-law and my sister, and I had just buried my dad. My dad, I had just attended his funeral. I was very fat, very out of shape, feeling very helpless and hopeless about myself. Didn't really like a lot about my life, and I just lost my best friend in the world. The person that had been with me through everything in life, who had his fingerprints all over every decision I had ever made, and who was just gone. Cancer took him, and I'm reeling, and I'm unhappy, and I'm looking around my life going like, at 34 years old, looking around my life at this point, just being like, this isn't what I wanted. On paper, my life seemed fine. It seemed fine. I mean, I was fat and everything, that part didn't seem fine. But I was working to be okay with it, and I was friends with other fat people, so none of them were making me feel bad about it, because if they'd make me feel bad about it, they'd be feeling bad about it. So none of us made each other feel bad about it. And the people that were thin and in shape in my life, they weren't talking to me about it because I already had all the answers. I know how to lose weight. You just don't understand. You've always been skinny. You just don't get it. But my brother-in-law, I knew he knew a lot about the body. He'd always been in shape. Him and my sister were both CrossFitters. They were some of the most in shape people I knew. John would run ultra marathons. I remember hearing about where he did a 100-mile ultra marathon, which just seemed insane. Like, what do you mean you ran 100 miles? Like, you're making that up. You didn't, like, you ran it over a week? No, in 24 hours. Wait, in 24 hours you ran 100 miles? This is the kind of guy he is. So I know he knows what he's talking about, and I know he's actually done the work. And as long as I've known him, he's always been in shape. Now the scene is set. And I'm at this Chick-fil-A. I just finished my dinner. We're just sitting there. And John looks at me, and he says, I'm worried about you, man. I just want to issue a challenge. For 3 times a week, just 3 times a week, I just want you to move for 20 minutes. Any movement you want, doesn't matter. Just any movement, 3 times a week, 20 minutes. And as soon as he said that, in my brain's like, come on. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, you're issuing me a challenge to move for 20 minutes 3 times a week. That's what my brain's thinking on the inside. Of course, on the outside, I'm like stoic, stone cold, emotionless as far as I recall. I haven't ever asked him if he remembers if I even reacted. I don't even know if he remembers this conversation as vividly as I do. I remember it like it was yesterday. And so I look at him and I'm thinking that in my head, but I'm also simultaneously thinking, because I was just thinking it, like, I really don't like my life. And I'm also looking at the person telling me this as somebody that I respected a great deal. His opinion mattered to me a lot. Like, his opinion carried a lot of weight to me with regards to fitness and the body. And I knew he would not give me a challenge that would do nothing. And I'm sitting in my head, the first thought in my head after all this was like, 20 minutes 3 times a week isn't going to do anything. That's the first thing my brain said. I was like, yeah, but you don't know as much as John, and John wouldn't ask you to do this unless it mattered. So I had, in literally just a few moments, I had this whole conversation in my head. You can do that too, right? Where you just have a conversation in your head pretty quickly about something somebody said. A whole bunch of thoughts are whizzing through there that nobody can hear but you. Well, these were mine. And so right away, I'm instantly being torn, not understanding that at this very moment, I'm at a crossroads. I could reject everything he said. I could deny it, push it away, let my cognitive bias kick in, my defense mechanisms kick in, ignore it, do whatever I want. Or I could lie to him, like, yeah, I'll do that, and then know damn well I had no intentions of doing it. I could have done that. It would have been very easy. In fact, probably any other day I might have, but I had just buried my dad and I was a little emotionally drained. I didn't have much left. And so I looked at him and I said, I can do that. And in my head, I'm like, okay, you just said you're going to do it. What are you going to do? And right away, I was like, I'll go join the gym by the house and I'll start swimming. I didn't overthink it. It's like, last time I lost weight, I swam. I liked it. It was fun. It was easy to do when I was fat. I can't tell I'm sweating. Nobody can see how fat I am because I'm under the water. And my gym's open late anyway. So I'll just go swim. And that was my plan. That was the whole plan. That was it. That's it. There was no plan past that. In that moment, I walked away with just a challenge to move for 20 minutes 3 times a week. And that's how my weight loss journey started. Now, remember what I said earlier. I made this whole plan up myself. I cobbled it together myself. No one made this for me. No one built this for me. I made this. I didn't find this. I made it. I invented it. And I started with this. This was the first piece I was given of my puzzle. The first person on my quest. That you when you go into a video game and you walk up to an NPC and you talk to them and they hand you some random piece of information that you're going to use to help you later to unlock some skills that you need to unlock the next thing, right? I'm Zelda and I've just began my quest and I just talked to my first NPC who gave me information. Okay? Now, if you're watching this on video, by the way, if you're on Spotify, I upload these as videos. So you might see me looking at a couple pieces of paper I have here. I jotted some notes down because sometimes I get kind of caught up in my emotions. I'm telling the story, and I want to make sure I didn't miss any details. So if you see me looking, that's what I'm looking at. But when I got home, I was living in Kansas City at the time. First scene took place in Chick-fil-A in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is where I live now again. But I get to Kansas City, and I'm in my little man den in the basement. And I remember having this conversation with myself. Like, I'm back. I'm like, all right, on Monday, I'm going to start my exercise regime. On Monday, I'm going to start my exercise regime. I mean, it seemed a little cliche to do it on a Monday, but I was traveling back over the weekend from burying my dad. Like, it was legitimately the first chance I was going to have. But I'm home on the weekend. I'm sitting there in the evening, contemplating the week I'm about to do. And I asked myself, do you want to go on another diet? Do you want to try to lose all this weight again? You've done it before, self. Do we want this? And I had to go through the usual thing, the usual mental exercise of getting to the place where I would admit to myself that no, I don't want to be fat. And yes, a part of me believes it's possible to change it, even though I've never figured it out before. And I'm willing to try again. I'm willing to try one more time. I hadn't tried to lose weight in quite some time. And the time I had tried before that didn't get very far, like 10 pounds. And then I quit and gained it all back. Time before that, like 5 pounds, quit, gained it all back. It had been 3 years since my last real shot at it. And I lost 60 pounds and I gained it all back plus more. So I admitted to myself I didn't want to be fat anymore. But I now know what always came after that. Okay, I don't want to be fat. So which diet am I going to do this time? Which plan am I going to pick? And so I was weighing my options there in my man den, just kind of thinking on this. I was so emotionally drained at this point still. I mean, I was still, my brain was in a fog. I just didn't have the ability to overcomplicate the stuff in my head. So I was just like, I just don't want to fail again. Failing equals, let's define what failure meant to me in that context. I didn't say what I meant because I was still not at a place where I'd be honest with myself. So when I said I don't want to fail again, what I meant is I didn't want to quit because it was too hard. Most of my weight loss journeys ended not because I failed. It failed because it ended with me quitting because what I was doing was just too hard. And I just kept blaming myself. I was like, why can't I do this? And this is where I get so grumpy at thin people. I'm like, you don't have to go through all this stuff. You don't have to give up bread to lose weight. You don't have to eat nothing but shakes to be skinny. I have to do all this extra stuff, and it's impossible. And yet I got to do it. If I want to be thin, I got to figure out how to do the impossible forever. And it's just like, I can't do that again. I don't want to. I just buried my dad. I'm in enough pain as it is, but I really don't want to be fat. And no one can fix this for me. And I can't change anything else. Maybe I can change this. So I just thought, like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? I can't go on keto again. I can't go on the New Directions was my flavor, but the shakes diet again. Can't do that. I'm not going to starve myself. I'm not going to learn to eat healthy and give up all my favorite foods anymore. I'm done giving up my favorite foods. Because it's like skinny people get to eat all my favorite foods. I see skinny people eat everything I eat. So it's like clearly not the food that's a problem. I'm just like, clearly. I don't know why. I haven't believed this until this moment. But until that very moment, I was like, Yeah, there's foods that are the problem. But then I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm missing something. There's something I'm missing. What am I missing? So I was like, let's do this like I do my job. Root cause analysis. So when you do root cause analysis, let's look at every solution that I've tried before. Up until now, let's look at every solution. So I just reviewed them in my head. It wasn't hard. You could do it too. You could just sit here for 30 minutes, go inside your brain, and think about your old weight loss journeys. You're probably thinking about it right now to an extent, remembering some of the ones you did, remembering the excitement in the beginning, remembering the hard moment that you pushed through, remembering feeling like, wow, this is starting to get hard. I think I might not want to do it. Oh, just one little cheat's okay. Oh gosh, I cheated. And then you're like, no, I'll get back to it. And then you go on a vacation or you go on a business trip. Oh, there's nothing that fits in my plan. I guess I got to go off plan and eat whatever. Oh, I didn't gain my weight all back all of a sudden. No, well, maybe I know it's Thursday, but I'll get back to it on Monday. And then Monday'd come around, nobody'd ask, and I ain't bringing it up. And then, I was done. I'd quit again. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm looking at every diet. I'm contemplating them all in my head. And I was like, so I asked myself a new question, a question I'd never asked myself before. And if you're a guild member, you've been going through NeuroShift with me, you know the power of a helpful question. How you could get an entirely new result in your life because of a new question. That's part of the mindset work that I teach in the guild. So if you want to really level up your mindset game, come to the guild and then be sure to go check out my NeuroShift course, which is just a mindset course. And it's a lot. It'll take you 2 years to go through it all. Like, it is the most extensive mindset course I have ever seen. And anyway, we start. So the questions is a big thing. And I've learned this because I asked a new question. And the new question was, what's the same about all these diets? Like, what do they all have in common? Because I know enough to know about, like, if you're finding individual solutions that don't work, look at all of them and see what they share. And just start there. I don't know what I'll find. I just know start there and then just go beyond that. And so the first thing that I noticed, all the diets I had done, at least in the past, was they were too hard unless I had a ton of control over my environment. Like, I had to have a lot of control over what food was around me, what food was in my home. Like, going out to eat on most of my diets was incredibly challenging because I was usually doing something highly restrictive, which was another thing that a lot of these diets had in common. Actually, almost all the ones I did, all of them did. They had some sort of restriction. Now, I didn't understand at the time. Part of the restriction I was feeling was I had this internal desire to emotionally eat, because Weight Watchers gives you plenty of points when you're first starting. But like, my emotional eating, there wasn't enough points for me to emotionally eat and lose weight. But I didn't understand that at the time. So it just felt restrictive. And that's all I knew. I just knew that every diet felt highly restrictive, and that restriction made me feel trapped, made me feel like a prisoner. It would make me literally want to rebel against the diet after several months of feeling that restriction. It was too inconvenient. Every diet I did was far too inconvenient. It made barbecues a chore. It made going out to eat with people a chore. It made going out to eat by myself a chore. It made eating at other people's homes a struggle. Like, eating at the office, snacks, treats. Every diet I had done was just wildly inconvenient. It did not match at all what a regular life looks like. And the other thing I started noticing, because again, a new question, so now I'm getting answers I've never had before. Like, well, what do these all have in common? I was like, well, not a single one of them teaches me what to do when I'm done. And the only reason I thought to ask that is because when I knew of one diet that did promise that. And it was the New Directions diet I did. It's the shakes one where they starve you with 800 calories a day and appetite suppressants. Don't do it. It's stupid. And a doctor will be sure to give you a bunch of tests and scare you so that you're like, oh, I got to do this. Here's $600 a month. Please save me, doctor. And so anyway, as I'm getting on this program and they're talking about how the weight's going to melt off me, which of course it is. I'm starving myself. But by a lot, they told me that when I get to the other side, they're going to transition me to maintaining and teach me how to maintain food and how to eat differently. No one had ever said that to me before. No one had ever said what you're doing is temporary and then we're going to teach you what to do when you're done. But you have to get to the done before we're going to teach you that. And now I'm looking at all these diets, but I got this one little thing sticking out. I was like, what's that? No one else has said this, but what were you going to teach me? Like, that's what I started thinking, like, why didn't you just teach it to me now? Because I couldn't make it. Like, what happens when I need to, like, I can't lose weight this month? Like, it's too much. I don't know what to do. It's too restrictive. It's too busy, or I got a vacation, or it's a holiday, or a business trip, or I'm sick. Like, it's not a good time to lose weight. And I'm like, I'm fat. I'm real fat. I'm going to be doing this a while. So that seems logical that that's going to happen, that I'm going to need to pause it. And I was like, wait, why don't you teach that to me now? So that way, when I got to pause the weight loss journey, I know what to do. So when I've worked so hard to lose these 15 pounds, I don't gain 8 of them back while I pause. Like, I'm sitting thinking like, yeah, if I could just lose 15 pounds and then hold the line and then lose another 5 pounds and then hold the line and then lose another 2 pounds and then hold the line, as long as I hold the line, it doesn't matter. I could just keep taking little bursts at this. Lose 10 pounds, break. 20 pounds, break. 5 pounds, break. Like, I could do that, I'm thinking. I didn't end up doing that. But in my head, I was like, I could. Like, that makes sense. What were they going to teach me? But they were very clear, that place. They were not going to teach me that until I did the program, until I lost all my weight with the shitty part. Okay, so that was interesting. But I also realized something else. When I started looking at the rest of my diets, Weight Watchers, Keto, Atkins were my top 3, of course. I thought to myself, wait a minute. They did tell me what to do after. They said, when you gain your weight back, come back. And it started to dawn on me. What I had actually been doing my whole life was looking for an easy way to get weight off my body quickly so that I could go back to the life that was gaining weight, then go back to dieting, really easy, it's no big deal, and then gain the weight back. I could literally just yo-yo diet my whole life, and this diet will be so easy, I'll just go on it when I've gained 10 pounds instead of 20 pounds. And it's like, but this one guy said maintenance. Like, what if I just didn't gain it back? And this is where I started taking an entirely new approach that I had never taken with weight loss before. I started thinking about maintenance from the first day. From day 0. I haven't started anything. I'm starting the following day or two, and I'm thinking this. I'm like, I haven't taken a single action. Not one action towards my goal. I haven't changed how I eat. I haven't changed how I move. I haven't changed anything. All I'm doing is contemplating. And I'm contemplating for the first time ever maintenance when I was at my fattest. And then I had this thought, could I even maintain my weight now? Like whatever, I didn't actually know my weight exactly at this moment. So I guessed I was around 290-ish. And I was like, could I maintain my weight now? Because if I looked at my past, unless I'm actively losing weight, I'm gaining over time. Like always. If you put months together and I'm not actively trying to lose weight during those months, I'm gaining weight. I was very much gaining or losing. That's it. Well, maintenance? Wait a minute. I've never even tried. I've never even tried to keep my weight the same for a prolonged period of time. I don't even know how to do it. So I had a friend of mine, and she was always skinny. She had never had a weight problem. And so I asked her, I was like, how do you not get big? Like, how do you stay the same size? Like, you've never gotten big, and you've also never really gotten smaller. You've just sort of always been around here. How do you do that? And she gave me the strangest answer. She said, I use my clothes. And I was like, all right, you got to explain this. She said, well, I got fat pants and skinny pants. If I've been wearing my fat pants for more than a week or two, I do something about it. And I was like, wait, that means you're monitoring. That means you're doing something. Wait, so you are doing something. You're not doing nothing like I always thought skinny people did. You're doing something. And now my mind is being awakened that maintenance might not be this mysterious thing that naturally thin people do. I've never asked a thin person. And it's not like I was safe to approach and like, hey, Chris, it seems like you're really bad at not getting fat. Could I come sit you down and teach you how to not get fat? I'm not going to teach you how to lose weight. I'm just going to teach you how to stop getting fat. I would have never, I mean, I'm being ridiculous with that one. I can't even think of a way a person could have approached me gently and I would have taken it well. So nobody had ever explained it to me. In fact, I don't even know who to ask. So I just started asking skinny people. I'm like, they're doing something, right? Like they're doing something. Anyway, let's rewind the clock. So I started realizing that all these diets, their plan was for me to come back to the diet. And I was getting sick of this. I was getting sick of this whole yo-yo dieting thing. And I'm thinking like, I'd very much like to lose my weight and then maintain my weight loss. I've never tried that. And then as I kept looking deeper at these diets, I started realizing something else they all shared in common, which is they all required me to eat less. To varying amounts, right? Some required me to eat a ton less. Some of them only required me to eat a little bit less. And I could tell, like when I'm doing keto, I'm eating less than I did before. I mean, it's just hard to gorge yourself on fat and protein. I tried many times. You can do it. It's just hard. And your body sort of like fights back and tells you to stop. Kind of like what GLP-1s do. Not saying you should do that, but it does the same. It gives you the same sort of feeling of like, I just don't want food. And so I was like, wait, they all require me to eat less food to varying amounts. And every diet I had ever done at least mentioned movement. Anything from just going on casual walks to some of them had like really intense workouts. And I was like, okay. So they're all restrictive, but they all require me to eat less and they all require me to do some sort of movement. I wonder if there's a way I can do this that doesn't feel restrictive though. Like part of the thing I've always done is I've always been trying to optimize. I'm always trying to lose as much weight as fast as possible. But this whole maintenance thing has got me really reconsidering, like, do I really need to lose it fast? I don't think I do, because if I'm just going to maintain whatever progress I make, it's sort of like in the past, what I would always do is like 6 steps forward, 4 steps back. So now I've only had 2 steps, and then I'll take 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And now I'm only had 3 steps, right? I'm doing all this wasted energy with these backward steps. And I was like, well, what if I just took 1 step forward, end of story, and then the next couple days later took another step forward? Yeah, I'm only 2 steps forward, but like it took no effort. Like I only just took 1 step at a time. I didn't do a lot. I let time work to my advantage. I stopped trying to do it quick. I was like, well, what if I just did it slow? And I started thinking like, well, gosh, if I had just started it slowly 5 years ago, I'd be done by now. Like, surely I could have done it over 5 years. Like, well, what if I wake up 5 years from now and I still haven't done it slowly? I don't know that I'd be good with that because I'm thinking about it. Like, I could do it slow, but that would mean I'd only change a few things. Am I good with that? I was like, but am I maintaining my weight? And this led to a realization, a face-to-face with me. I'm getting ready to go try something that nobody has told me to do. No plan. No one wrote this for me. I don't have any, like when you go get weight loss surgery, you can be like, well, the weight loss surgery works. You're putting faith in the solution. When you go do keto, you're putting faith in the solution. When I went to that stupid New Directions diet, I was putting faith in the solution. This time I was putting faith in me. I was putting faith in my own ability to figure it out. I had never done that before. And I'm just like, I don't know that I have faith in me. But I know the success principles. I know that I need a goal, begin with the end in mind. One of the 7 habits of highly effective people, begin with the end in mind. That habit has served me well my whole life. And I was like, well, what's the end game here? Like, if I'm going to go off making these changes, I need to begin with the end in mind because I need to know if I'm making changes that are in alignment with where I want to go. So where do I want to go? I'd already admitted I didn't want to be fat anymore, but I had done that lots of times. I admitted I didn't want to be fat. And there was this small part of me behind the scenes that wanted to be skinny, but I couldn't admit that I wanted that. I had a lot of negative thoughts about wanting to be thin, about wanting to be skinny. Like I didn't have good thoughts about it. I'd spent a lot of time telling myself it was wrong to want that, so that I could be okay with being as big as I was. I didn't want to feel bad about being fat. I didn't want to feel bad about my seeming inability to lose weight. I didn't want to feel bad about myself, so I convinced myself that it was okay by saying there's no reason to want to be thin. And I might make someone feel bad because I've admitted I don't want to be fat and I want to be thin. I think being fat is bad. I don't think you should do it. Like, that's my thought. That was the opinion I had. I still have it. I don't think you should do it. I think you should become thin. But I was also like, well, I do want to become thin, but I don't want to look like a deflated balloon. You know, I want to have a life of adventure. I see my brothers and my sister out doing these fun things. Their bodies can like take them places and do stuff. I remember watching my brother run up a mountain once. I mean, it wasn't a big one, but like he ran up and I was like, that seems cool. Like I've never done that. I've never been physically capable of doing it. I couldn't run up a hill. I mean, I couldn't run up something flat. I mean, I couldn't run. I mean, if I'd start running, I'd be like, this is terrible after like 4 steps. I was like, but I'd like to do those things. So I don't think I just want to be thin. I want to be thin, but I also want to be in shape. And I've done that mental exercise before. And then I'm like, well, there we go. I'll latch on to being in shape. I don't feel any guilt or any issues about wanting to be in shape. But I was like, no, I want both. Like, I'm done pretending I don't want to be thin. I'm done pretending to myself I don't want it. I'm done pretending that I think it's okay to be fat. I don't. And I'd want to be thin. And I want to be in shape. I want to go have adventures. But remember, I just buried my dad. I was very much contemplating my own mortality at this time. And I was like, I also would very much like to live a long time. I saw somebody die that didn't want to die. And I don't want to self-impose that on me. Because what I was doing was ensuring that I was going to die before I wanted to die. And I was going to be on that deathbed knowing it was me that put me there. Well, there was a likelihood of it. If I got smacked by a bus, I mean, obviously I didn't, I guess I stepped in front of the bus, but, not the same thing, right? I did not want my obesity to be a reason why I was on my deathbed prematurely. And I knew there's a lot of old people and there's a lot of fat people, but there's not a lot of old fat people. I used to be married to a nurse. I heard all about what obesity looks like when it kills you. And I didn't want any of that. So I'm like, I also want to be healthy. And again, I've done this journey before. I've done this thought exercise before. I'm like, oh, there we go. There's the morally acceptable one. I want to be healthy. I'm on a health journey. No, I'm on a weight loss journey. If I'm on a health journey, I might not do things that lead to weight loss. I've done that before. And if I'm on a weight loss journey, I might not do things that lead to health. I've done that before. I was like, clarity of the goal. Begin with the end in mind. The clearer I have, or the more clear the end goal is in my mind, the easier it will be to make decisions on what is right and wrong to do. I knew that because that's a business principle, putting it in my personal life. So I'm like, all right, I want to be thin, I want to be in shape, and I want to be healthy. I'm like, I want all those. I don't want one of them. I don't want 2 of them. I want all 3 of them. But I was not happy. I was like, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I deserve to be happy. This is my life. I want to be happy. I could die. I want to be happy. I'm done waiting around to be happy. So I'm going to start working on it now. And that's when the Core 4 was born. Before my journey even started, I began with the end in mind. I want to be thin. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. And I want to be in shape. I wanted all of them. So what's the plan? All right, so if you want these things, what's the plan? What are you going to do? And so I had to figure out the next steps. All right, I already had my movement plan, which was I'm going to move for 20 minutes 3 times a week. That's going to help me get in shape, I figured. I did not have any reason to believe that was going to help me lose weight. I did not. And I've learned later that it really didn't make much difference. It helped some, but not much. All right, 20 minutes 3 times a week was good for fitness, for cardiovascular, for health. It was great for health and fitness. Weight loss, it was fine. And I knew enough to know, the other thing every single weight loss strategy shared in common is I'm going to have to touch my food. I'm going to have to change how I eat. But how? And I have to remember, every diet was different, but they all shared one thing in common. It required me to eat less food. So I was like, all right, somehow I need to eat less. I don't know what I should eat less of, but I should eat less. And then I got this thought that I'm so glad I thought it. I'll bet the me on the other end of the weight loss journey just objectively eats less food than I do. That's what I thought when I was at my fattest. I just figured that me at my thinnest probably doesn't eat as much food week in, week out as I do now. I don't know what thin me on the other side eats, but I'll bet he eats less. Now, here's the cool part of this story. Hi, I'm thin me. I'm the me on the other side of the story that lost all the weight. And I can confirm that I do indeed, week in, week out, eat less than I did when I was fat. I would eat more. I would eat in a day when I was fat, what I eat in 2 days. Now, literally, I eat about half of what I ate before. Not every day. Yeah, sometimes I have a big day of eating. I rarely go above 3,200 calories in a day. I rarely went below 3,200 calories in a day before. So I was eating a lot. And here's the other thing I can tell you. I eat all the same foods now that I ate when I was at my biggest, but I don't eat them all at the same frequency and in the same volumes. I still have movie theater popcorn, but rather than having it, I got to give it to you in tubs per week because I had more than one tub per movie. Rather than 2 to 4 tubs per week, I have 4 to 6 tubs per year of popcorn at the movie theater. Think about that. 2 to 4 tubs per week, which is 1,000 to 1,500 calories each minimum, the way I made it, to 4 or 6 tubs a year at about 1,000 calories max, the way I make it. It's like, yeah, that's less. I still have ice cream, but instead of having ice cream 4 to 7 nights a week, I should probably talk to it in bowls per week, rather than having ice cream 14 to 20 bowls a week, sometimes, usually at least 7. So 7 to 14 bowls a week. Wow, I haven't really thought about it this way before. This is kind of weird. 7 to 14 bowls a week of ice cream. I might have 7 bowls a year. I still have it. I just have less. And I'm not saying I have 7 bowls. I'm saying I have 7 bowls worth. Because now when I have ice cream, I have a much smaller portion. I get 1 scoop instead of 4. And I put no chocolate syrup or a teeny bit of chocolate syrup instead of drowning it in chocolate syrup so that I could drink it at the end. It's not like it went to waste at the bottom and ended up in the sink. Oh no, it went in my mouth. I just eat less. I still eat pizza. I had pizza a few days ago. But at this party I was at, I had 3 slices, small slices of pizza, equating to about a slice and a half of normal size, where normally I would have had 6 of those slices. Easy, 6 or 8. I just have less. So old me was totally correct. The me on the other side of the journey is going to eat less. And so let's go back to the mind of my old self when I was at my fattest. And I'm trying to contemplate, what do I do? And I'm arriving at this theory, this hypothesis, I guess, not a theory, this hypothesis that I need to eat less, but I don't know of what. So why don't I just do this? There's a phrase that I say all the time. I say this all the time, multiple times a week. I'm not hungry, but I could eat. I'm not hungry, but I could eat. What if every time I said that, I just didn't eat? I'm not hungry, so I won't eat. Like, what if I just did that? And what if I just made it to, I'm not hungry, so I won't eat until I'm hungry? If I'm hungry, I should eat, right? Like, if I'm not hungry, I shouldn't eat. If I'm not hungry, clearly my body doesn't need food. So I shouldn't be putting food in my face hole. And I'm sitting there thinking this. I'm like, well, I put food in my face hole all the time when I'm not hungry. Like, if you'd asked me, I'd have said I was hungry all the time, but I wasn't. The reality is I actively avoided feeling hunger by always preemptively eating. I rarely went long enough without eating to feel true, genuine hunger. And if I did, I was like, this is the worst thing ever. I need so much food. Did you know that being really hungry doesn't make your stomach hold more food? I didn't know that. So I'd say I'd get really hungry, so then I would gorge myself instead of being really hungry and then just eating a normal amount. I didn't do that. So that's what I decided to do. Beginning of my journey of the one I cobbled together. I will eat when I'm hungry. And when I'm not hungry, I won't. And the moment I can tell I'm not hungry, even if I'm in the middle of eating, I will stop eating. I'm not going to complicate it. Because I didn't want to feel restricted. And I was like, what am I going to eat? I'm going to reduce sugar and desserts. I'm not going to cut it out because I don't want to. But I'm going to reduce it. I don't know how much less I should have, but I see skinny people eating sugar. So clearly there's some amount I can have that's okay. I don't know what it is, but I should probably start making my way towards it by slowly eating less and weaning myself off the sugar, which is, again, a big difference from what I used to do. I used to go cold turkey off the stuff. And of course, that didn't work because I'm a human. And I needed to stop thinking I was a special snowflake that could brute force my way through this long term. It's not how the mind works. And I didn't stop there, though. So that was to help me lose weight. Just going to eat less. I also cut out Diet Coke. Not for weight loss. Actually, it had nothing to do with weight loss at all, and I knew it at the time. I was looking at my life at this point, and I'm like, I don't like that I am so hooked on Diet Coke. I was like, I drank it like a fish. If it wasn't Diet Coke or Diet Dr. Pepper, I pretty much didn't drink. Like, I didn't drink water. I mean, I drink booze, but yeah, it was water. I mean, booze or Diet Coke or Diet Dr. Pepper. That's all I drank. And so I was like, I'm going to cut it out for some period of time. I don't know what, but for the indefinite future, months at least, I'm going to just cut it out. I'm not going to drink it. I'm going cold turkey and I'm going to drink water. I'm still going to drink beer sometimes, but just water. That's it. And it was just because I wanted to prove to myself that I'm in control. That was the only reason. I just wanted to prove to myself that I'm in control. And I'm like, well, if I'm already focusing on water, I might as well make drinking water a whole thing. So I'll just drink a bunch of water every day. And the only reason I did that is because I heard it a lot. I had no idea why. I had no clue why. I just heard it a lot. So I'm like, well, it's not going to hurt. You know, I'm like, there's not really any downsides to drinking a lot of water. So let's do that. And then I needed to make some mindset shifts, some principle updates in my way of thinking. And I'm glad I did this because if I hadn't done this, I'm not sure it would have stuck because these mindset shifts were important. For the first time in my life, I was going to make mindset work a vital component of my transformation. I'd never done that. And this is a big part of how I teach weight loss now because I've realized that taking a mindset first approach will get you entirely different results. Because to get results I've never had before, I'm going to have to think thoughts I've never thought before, which means I need a new way of looking at things. I need a new set of rules. I need a new, what's the term? I need a new standard operating procedures for new circumstances. And so I adopted this first one of, I got to stop quitting. So get up one more time, then I fall down. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I go on a trip and I can't make it. I was like, if I mess it up, whatever I do, I get back on it the next day. No matter what, I'm always back on it the next day. There's no waiting till Monday. There's no 2 days later. It's always next day. So if I go on a vacation and I fumble at day one, fine. Then I get back up, I'm back on it day two. And if I fumble at day two, fine. I get up, I'm back on it day three. I just committed to getting up every time more than I fell down. Every time it messed up and I fell off the rails, I'd get back to my plan and I would never quit and do no plan. And that led to the second principle update, which is 50% of something is always better than 100% of nothing. And so if what I'm doing is it in any way effective, even if it's not good effective, but if it's more effective than zero, I either need to keep doing it or I need to pivot to something else that is more effective than zero. I just cannot do a plan which is zero or negative. I can't go back. So no workout versus a half-ass workout for 5 minutes. The half-ass workout for 5 minutes is better than no workout. Do that. And your brain's going to be like, well, that doesn't matter. And you're right, it doesn't. But when you do it 50 times, it does. And also your brain notices that you did it. And so it helps you create the exercise habit, as an example. I also adopted another principle of I'm going to continually raise the bar because I knew that all these changes I made were definitely not going to get me across the finish line. I didn't know what I was going to need to do beyond this. I had no idea. I figured I could figure it out as I go. I did. But I was like, I got to continually raise the bar. So whatever I'm doing now, do more. So if I'm doing 4 minutes or 20 minutes 3 times a week at the gym, at some point I need to up that. If I'm only eating when I'm hungry, at some point I'm going to need to make some other adjustment. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. And then the last thing, I decided I'm going to stop learning how to diet. And for whatever reason, it finally clicked what people had been saying to me my whole life. When they said, you got to make it a lifestyle, my brain's like, oh, I don't think they mean make dieting a lifestyle. I think what they mean is the way my lifestyle was a fat person lifestyle. And if I want to be a thin person, I need to adopt a thin person lifestyle. And so I started saying to myself, day zero, I'm going to adopt the habits of thin people. I'm going to find out what thin people do, and I'm just going to start trying it. And I'm going to find all the different things that I like, and I'll discard the ones that don't. and I'm not going to worry about it because I'm willing to bet there's not one single way of being thin. And there's not. There's a couple of rules that we all share, but the way we fulfill them are all different. And this began my journey. A month from now, I will be having this conversation. I guess a month from now, my dad will have just died. Actually, a month from now tomorrow. And then it'll be a week or two after that. I'll have had these thoughts, but 6 years ago. And here I sit 6 years later, successful. My plan was mine. I wrote it from the ground up. I had no help. I had no trainers. I had no coaches. I read no books about diets. All I did was learn about specific things. I'd learn about exercise. I'd learn about nutrition. I'd learn about calories. I'd learn about the elements of all this, but had nobody made a plan. Anytime I came up to something like, here's your 30-day plan, I just turned it off. I said, I'm rejecting all plans. I'm not even going to use plans because plans aren't sustainable long-term. Plans work short-term. Plans are for short-term chasing people. I'm not doing that anymore. I said, I'm changing forever. And that means I'm going to change my life. I don't need a plan. I need a process for how to change my life. I need to transform. And I did. I nuked my life and I started over. And it all began from that table where I was challenged to move for 20 minutes 3 times a week. And I decided to just do these other few things. So if you are not sure what to do, if you're not sure where to go or what to do next, I'm going to give you the same challenge I was given. I want you to move for 20 minutes 3 times a week, whatever movement you want. We're not going to be picky about this. I want you to do it. And then sometime in the next month, I want you to raise the bar. And then a month or two after that, I want you to raise the bar again. You need to do something about your food. If you're not sure what to do, you can do what I did. It's not going to get you across the finish line, but it's going to get you off the starting line. And you can just only eat when you're certain you're hungry. And when the hunger is gone, your mouth is closed. It's really that simple. You won't do it that way forever. You'll learn how to eat at other times, and you won't only just eat when you're hungry, and you'll learn all the other subtle nuance to this. But in the beginning, we need to keep it simple. Just eat when you're hungry. That's going to cut out a lot of the bullshit eating because you're only eating when you're hungry. That means no bites, licks, or tastes because you're not hungry unless you're hungry when you're doing it. And also, if you need to do another couple little things, start working on your sleep, start going on a walk every day. That's it. We don't need to complicate it. Not at all. You're going to need to do more things. And if you're not sure what to do next after this, and you want some help cobbling it together, I'd love to invite you to come join the Guild. That's what we do there. In the Guild, I don't give you a plan. I help you create your plan. Now I get you started. I've learned enough to be able to get you off the finish line, off the starting line and heading towards the finish line in a way that's sustainable and that sets you up for success. But I created a community of only supportive people so that way whenever you're stuck or struggling, 24/7, you have a community you can reach out to get the support you need. And I've created multiple channels for you to reach out to these people. People come in here and they make friends for life. But not only that, people come into the Guild as fat people and they leave as skinny people. And people also come into the Guild not believing in themselves and they leave believing in themselves. And that's the purpose of it, is to help you find what I found. I also, full disclosure, I expect it to take time, years. I'm going to help you lose weight the way I did it. You're going to do it very, very slowly. You're going to do it in a way that sticks. You're going to do it permanently. We're going to teach you about maintenance from day one. You're going to start learning how to maintain your weight immediately so that way you can lose 5 pounds and then stop. And then lose another 2 pounds and then stop. Instead of losing 15 pounds and gaining 8 back. That way you can stop gaining and losing. Now, will you get it right? Probably not. A lot of us have to go through a lot of trial and error phases. I did, and you will too. I'm not going to be able to prevent that in the Guild, but what I can do is make sure you don't quit. Because the reality is, the reason why all of us quit our journeys in the past is because it was too hard. So we're going to help you prevent it from being too hard, and we're going to help you to not quit. Now, there's going to be hard parts of this, though. You got to do it for a while. The endurance aspect alone is hard. Now, you can do hard things. You can't do impossible things, but you can do hard things. And you can lose this weight. Will it be easy? No. Will it be fun and rewarding and life-changing? Yes. Will it be hard? At times it will be. Will it be worth it? 100% yes.